Bamboo Lab, for example, is like here, where it's like the cost is very low and they serve a very general purpose. And then you have Stratasys, which is like on the opposite end of the spectrum, which is like very high cost and they're serving a very specific demographic or purpose, like high temperature, ultimate, or peak. And he was saying that historically there's been a lot of companies that are kind of in the middle. So I would say, I'm not putting words in your mouth because like you're a reseller, but I would say Ultimaker, Raise 3D, those like 10,000 to like 20,000, even like maybe $30,000 printers, they're all kind of like in the middle. They serve like a general purpose, but they're like not cheap.
Right. Yeah.
And so the Stratasys CEO is saying that in the next 3, 5, 10 years, those companies need to differentiate. They need to pick a quadrant, otherwise they're going to die. And I thought this was super interesting because I see it. And I see it, like, for example, Form Labs. They started off with Kickstarter, more in the hobby, like, makerspace down here, and now they're moving more towards this direction. So I think it's super interesting. I want to know what your thoughts are.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that observation for sure as well. So, I mean, if you just look at the value proposition for like Ultimate Raise, like we're reselling all these things, but we're very open about where we think people like we basically fit printers to people and their applications, so it doesn't fit. I'm gonna be like, hey, right? We're seeing less and less sort of value. If you compare like a Bamboo and Ultimaker, like the vast majority of people will get more value out of like a Bamboo because it's just like it's one fifth the price, right? And it does mostly the same thing faster, right? And so like Bamboo covers a much broader range, and and Ultimaker and Raise do have to sort of differentiate more, or they're going to get lost in the mix, or they're just going to be like too expensive to do like, roughly the same thing. They still have some slight advantages. So like Ultimaker is really good at doing the dual extrusion with soluble supports. Like there's no other real company that does that well-ish. Soluble is like really janky overall, especially with the water soluble stuff. So Ultimaker is the only one that we've seen that does it decently well. There's still problems, but it does that best. And then Raise is like the only really large one that can print as fast as Bamboo. So like you kind of like when people are like, hey, I need to print like helmets and stuff, right? And like you can't do a Bamboo because you're cutting that into 8 pieces, right? Like, no matter what. So
For now.
Yeah, for now. But Raise is you can do it in 1 piece. So even if it's more expensive, it actually saves you the labor. That makes the choice justified. If Bamboo comes out with a larger one that's as big as the Raise, then that eats